Motion to approve agenda.
Second.
All those in favor of the approval of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
No nays. Approval of the minutes from March 17th, 2026.
Chair and Commission staff does not have any amendments to the minutes as presented.
I see none. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor of the approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
On to item E, public hearing, conditional use permit and setback variance resolution for Peach Automotive Service Garage at 1770 Gervais Avenue East.
Thank you, Chair and Commission. So we have the slides up on the screen here. We'll walk through the proposed project and the staff report here. So yeah, Peach Automotive Service Garage is being proposed at 1770 Jarvis Avenue East. The property owner is proposing to add a motor vehicle maintenance garage to its property. The site is 1.36 acres in size. You can see on the overhead map that's on your screen, the red rectangle indicates their property. There's a separate property to the south that as an independent owner, there is an easement through the subject property that you're looking at tonight to access that property, but they are separate owners and separate users. So the current occupant or user of the site you're looking at tonight is a tree trimming and removal contractor. They currently operate their business from the site. I know a commission member had some questions before the meeting about their licenses and some storage, so I'd encourage you to have that conversation on the record in the meeting with the applicant tonight. To move forward with their proposal for an automotive service garage, they do need approval from the city for a conditional use permit and a setback variance. The 2040 comprehensive plan guides this property as employment, so the designation in the comp plan, again, is employment. That land use activities within this designation place an emphasis on job retention and creation, lower and higher intensity manufacturing and industrial areas. So the proposed land use does meet the intent of the comprehensive plan. The zoning is M1, light manufacturing. The existing business, a contractor shop, office and storage yard is permitted. The proposed business, a motor vehicle maintenance garage, does require a conditional use permit. That's one of the requests before you tonight. A vehicle maintenance garage is required to be at least setback at least 350 feet from property that the city plans for residential use. So you can see on this map to the north, in the light blue or teal is a planned unit development. Those are senior housing units. And then to the northeast is a senior housing building, though that property is guided as limited business commercial. But does require a setback variance due to its proximity to the adjacent residential property to the north. Members might remember there was an additional similar request on the property directly to the east recently for an automotive use for, again, a conditional use permit and setback variance. Some history on this site and building. The site was initially developed in 1988 and used by Schwann's Enterprises as a sales office and warehouse. So you remember the yellow trucks, that's where they would come from. The existing garage bays are still there from Schwann's use of it. And so this building has been used by previous businesses that have occupied that site because of that, being able to have those existing garage bays. Peachtree Care currently uses those garage bays for general maintenance of their vehicles and would like to offer routine and minor maintenance services to the public, so oil changes and basic upkeep of vehicles. Again, that's where we're discussing the CUP and variance tonight. These garage bays are, according to the applicant, often unused, and the proposal would be secondary and a complementary use of their property behind the tree service. No exterior modifications are proposed to accommodate this proposal either to the site or the building. So these images give you a little closer view. This information was included in your staff report. So again, an overhead image of the property itself. The middle image is a hand-drawn site plan from the applicant showing where they're utilizing different items, and then a floor plan for the interior of the building. So on the variance aspect, as we mentioned, city code requires that a motor vehicle maintenance garage be at least 350 feet from any property that the city plans for residential use. The property is between 57 and 105 feet when measured from the site's property lines to adjacent residential property across, again, those senior cottages, across Jarvis Avenue as it curves. So it's not a straight road, so the distances have different lengths there. And then to the senior building to the northeast, it's approximately 92 feet. This is the state statute standards that the city must evaluate variances against. That's included in your staff report. But generally, is the request reasonable? Is it created because of unique situations that are due to circumstances that are not created by the landowner? And an essential character. Does the variance, if granted, alter the essential character of the locality? So staff does find that the zoning ordinance permits a vehicle maintenance garage on the property subject to a CUP. Similar light manufacturing, auto-oriented businesses have historically operated in this area. Subject property was constructed in 1988 and has been used several years as a contractor shop. The adjacent residential properties to the north were developed after that between 1999 and 2014. The property is located on Highway 36, historically been used for commercial industrial uses along that corridor. Properties are zoned to prevent this use and have been used in this manner historically before the development of the adjacent residential neighborhood. Public review, the city did send notice of tonight's public hearing to 17 properties, letting them know when the public hearing would be occurring tonight. We have not heard any comments or feedback due to those notices. You can see, again, this information was in your staff report, but the city staff comments, namely the vehicle repair does require a license from the city, and then that would be required from the city clerk. And then any building alterations or change of use internal to the building would require building permits from the city's building department. So again, the planning commission tonight is here to hold a public hearing and review the conditional use permit and setback variance request, tentatively scheduled for the city council to review this request at its May 11th meeting. So staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit and setback variance. You can see the recommended action that's also included on the cover of your staff report. The applicants are present and can answer any questions from the commission tonight, and staff can also stand for questions. Thank you.
I have a couple. I didn't see any indicated easement on the property there. Is there a personal agreement for them to reach that rear?
There's a recorded easement on the property.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I should have written it down. Why is there an obligation to have when somebody does a garage, that it brings up a license for that? What indicates the cause for that?
So all automotive uses in the city, whether it's sales, rental, repair, what else can you do with a car? Require licensing. So I think there's been historically probably, or has been historically concerns that some of those automotive uses might have situations where the city would want to have a little more control or enforcement on if there's effects on neighboring property. I think, I know in Maplewood specifically, a lot of, like, when you look back in the minutes from the 80s or 90s, there was a lot of concern about car lots having streamers and all kinds of signs and things that sometimes you see in car lots, but you don't see them generally as much. So there's some historical reasons why these automotive uses have needed licenses. And I think there's also an aspect of customer confidence for Maplewood residents or people coming to Maplewood that there is a method to find out if a business has been licensed and has that certain level of legitimacy because they have a license with the city.
Right. Is there any EPA things that come involved with that too, with spillage or anything, or chemicals or anything that has to?
Not for this type of review. Generally, all anything that automotive, it's the same standard of whether it's a dealership on 61 or a small operation on like you're looking at tonight, they would have the same standards that they would have to meet from any other kind of environmental laws, but that's not a function of your CUP review.
Right, right. I just like to ask more questions than what we're involved in.
No, that's good, that's good,
My next questions will be for them, so.
sure.
Any more questions? We'll open up the public hearing if the applicant wanted to please come up.
Hello. My name is Michael Pash. I'm the owner of Peachtree and this property. It's my assistant Mo. He's the one that's been helping with getting all the files and, the application done and submitted and everything. So if I can't answer anything, he may.
So my one big question is that, why are you not licensed, but why are you not on the list of tree services provided in Maplewood? Do you not have an arborist on staff, or?
We should have a license with Maplewood, don't we?
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a possibility of.
I didn't see a license, and I didn't see where you could do tree service. There's two different things. There's a license and there's the tree thing, right, Mike?
Chair and Commission, so truthfully, I'm not prepared to talk about the licensing of the arborist, but I'm trying to pull that up. So I can't speak to that at this moment.
Okay, because when I looked up either one, I didn't see either one on the sites for being able to do tree service in Maplewood or a license, but you don't, what I understand, you don't need to have the license, but either or, but it would be nice if you were in Maplewood to have to be able to do tree service in Maplewood.
Yeah,
legally.
we have been in the past, and I don't know if there's a hiccup somewhere, but we've worked with, what's her name, Elizabeth at the,
Elizabeth Hammond, yeah.
yeah, so we've worked with her, over the past few years. So we should, if it's not, we'll look into it to make sure
Yeah,
we're
'cause it
licensed.
wasn't on the list.
Yeah.
Right.
and we do have a master arborist on staff, so.
Okay. And you weren't doing any service prior to this, right, on any vehicles? You didn't get red flagged or anything? You just
No.
want to jump on board?
We've just been working on our trucks and stuff in there. so.
Okay.
So pretty much you are going from private to public. That is, right? You are going from private to public. That's
Okay.
what you are trying to do now.
Yes, basically,
Yeah.
working on the private vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
just as simple as that, right?
Exactly.
So you have been in compliance when you are doing the private, and you're going to be applying for license to do the public part of it, right?
Yes,
And
exactly.
move on if it is approved, right?
Yes.
Great,
Those are conditions of approval of
Yeah.
the recommended proposal.
yeah.
Yep.
This close.
Are you going to put up a sign then too, or anything that indicate that, or?
We haven't gotten that far yet. We're just trying to do something, because, in the wintertime, tree service is really slow, and the building's really expensive.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to offset some of those costs by starting a small automotive, service, so we could, we're gonna first hire another, a mechanic and another office person, and just, provide a couple jobs, and then just provide a service for the area,
And signage would be part of the Community Design Review Board, correct, Michael?
Chair and Commission, so the site has certain signage allowances based on code. So it would as long as they're meeting those code requirements, it'd just be a sign permit.
And you'll probably be doing that because you are going public. You want people to know that you are there.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. So that is just the logic.
Yes. Well,
Great.
we just got one big sign
Yeah.
replaced, and a little expensive, but we might have to alter it to, let people know we're doing automotive service.
Yeah, as you had, there is a kind of a standard for the signs, so you have to talk to the city staff to, in order to maintain that, and
Okay. So in order to get another sign, we have to talk with the city to make sure it's proper.
yeah, there is a certain size that you have to use. There's a code, required for that.
Okay.
So you don't just go and make your signs and waste your money. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, just so Chair and Commission, everyone's clear, any signage does require a permit, and any new signage If it's an existing sign with a panel and they would just replace the panel and now it says 2 businesses instead of 1, they should run it through the city just to make sure everyone's they're
Exactly.
not caught on anything, but generally you're able just to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, signage requires a permit in the
Permits,
city.
yeah.
Perfect. Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
so will you guys be able to be within those hours too of being done by 5 o'clock on fixing, or, I know mechanics like to wrench all night long, is that?
Yes, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Yep.
And you have enough storage to keep the vehicles inside, so nothing will be outside sitting there waiting very long?
Yes. A pretty decent sized garage area. There's like 2 garage doors on the front that go all the way to the back. And what is it, like 100 feet?
It's
on both
about,
sides?
it's about 100 feet. I can double check here quickly. Yeah, so it's something like 90 or 100 feet depth and
Yeah.
about 30, 35 feet wide.
Yep.
So you could fit a row of cars there. And then we also have, I didn't count, it's been a while since I counted, but we have a handicap parking and then also about 6 or 7 parking spots. And then we also created designation there on the site plan. Just letting you know that we've designated some spots for the auto repair and for the tree company as well, so.
It's a fenced-in backyard, or, back of the property where we
That's,
can.
that's not in the front part there along the side of the building you're talking about, this is
I
additional?
was referring to the side of the building.
Right, okay.
Just, to let you know that we had accommodations, for customers coming in.
Right, yeah, it's pretty well lined.
And then we do have a fenced-in area. And just outside the fence to the west, that's where you'd see about a 32-foot wide easement going all the way down to the southern end of the property. That was there before we bought the property. So there must have been some kind of coordination between the former owners of this lot and the one below it, because, you can't get to the southern lot without it.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. It's understood.
Chair and Commissioner, I would just also point you to page 14 of your packet, conditions 2 and 3. Talk about no exterior storage of vehicles or equipment on the property or adjacent public streets related to the vehicle maintenance garage. Third condition, all vehicles awaiting repair must be stored inside the building, may not be stored outside in the parking lot or on public streets. No unlicensed or inoperable vehicles shall be stored on the premises for more than 48 hours. So conditions that get at kind of the questions that were being posed.
Right, that's why I know it was on there, I just wanted to make sure
Sure.
that they had the room to do it,
Yep, so we also made sure, obviously, like with the signs and things like that, we didn't make any kind of permanent changes. We wanted to run everything by the city first. But besides the garage being 35 feet by about 100 feet, we do have an area at the lower right-hand corner where we can store another vehicle there too. So if there's ever a need. So you could probably fit 2 rows of about 4 or 5 vehicles in the garage, and then we also have an open area at the bottom right-hand corner of the building.
Are there any hoists in there yet? Any hoists?
Yeah, well, there was already a hoist that we needed to work on,
Okay.
to work on equipment. I think it's gonna be prudent at the lower end, that longer area, at the lower end where the garage doors are. It would be smart to have 2 lifts there if we're gonna run a shop, so. But, you gotta get somebody in there to dig up the concrete and have special concrete put in, so it's an investment.
Did you put up the tarp building there, or was that there prior to, when you bought the building? The big round tarp with the containers?
Oh, yeah, the overhang there?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's actually just a temporary spot for one of our latest work trucks.
okay.
We're trying to move to strictly, diesel pickup trucks. So even when we have a pickup truck, it's gonna be strictly diesel. So we had an issue with a couple of those, and we've opened that up to, for a temporary storage in the back.
Right, makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Before we actually bought this property, the former owner was Perfection Heating and Air.
He was a renter.
He was a renter?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. They had sections of the parking lot that they rent it out for storage for people.
So there's no ice cream there at all anymore. It's been gone a long time.
No. Except for what my kids bring in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What more? Good, thank you.
Thanks.
So I just want to close the loop on the licensing. So again, no license is required from the city of Maplewood to run the tree service. They are not registered, so that's a requirement too. So we will work with our city clerk to follow up on getting them the proper paperwork so that they can get registered. But outside of any licenses in the city, that hasn't been a requirement.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Got all of it?
It is a public hearing, I'll open it up, if anybody wants to talk. I don't see anybody.
Did you girls want to come up and say any comment? Say Daddy's going to do a good job?
All right, then we'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion?
Can make a motion to approve the conditional use permit and setback variance resolution for the property at 1770, I'm going to say this wrong, Jarvis Avenue East, subject to certain conditions of approval.
I'll second.
By Scott, seconded by Tom. All those in favor say aye.
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 No nays. This motion passes. This is a recommendation to the city council, which it will go in front of the city council on,
Chair and Commission, May 11th.
May
is the
11th.
Tentative date, yes.
okay. Okay, thank you. Moving on to new business, none. Unfinished, none. Any commission presentations?
We got a new badge.
Got new badges. Anything from staff?
Yeah, Chair and Commission, just a couple things. Yeah, so you got the name tags today. If you didn't get the clothing allowance coupon, Paul will follow up, but if there's anything missing there, please let me know. Otherwise, just two points of order. I know at your last commission meeting that you approved your annual report. I believe Commissioner Iggy, you were identified as you're going to attend the city council. That got moved to this coming Monday on April 27th.
I sent back those to dry cleaner.
So staff will reach out to you and provide some, just kind of outline
Yes.
of the report, and if you have any questions. But yeah, that meeting on Monday starts at 7. It's near the beginning of the agenda, but yeah, be there at 7.
Are you still available to do that then, or?
Going to serve us some coffee?
We'll see what we can do.
You're still available, right, Alan? You're still, okay.
No.
No?
You want to?
No. No, I just-
Second item, the city, I know staff has talked to, again, with the annual report and other points of doing a commission training. So June 16th, which is your regular meeting date in June, we're going to host a joint training session with the CDRB. So the idea is that the two groups would have a joint meeting at 6 p.m. So you would come at 6 p.m., commence with the CDRB. Our city attorney will be present and will lead that training, and then staff will augment on some other topics. And then the idea is that if there's any business items for either group, CDRB would then convene as soon as the training is done, take care of their business items, and then the planning commission would do that later. I know I'll put us in a different situation, but usually June is a lighter month, so that's where training kind of works out well. We'll see what happens, but yeah, for sure, 6 p.m., please, if you can, put that on your calendar, that will start for a joint training. So that's all I have for you tonight.
Saving it now. Just so I don't forget. All right. Visitor presentations, probably none. And we will adjourn at 7:26 p.m.
So more.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.